Welcome to Good Trip Cabin and welcome to the end of March, the best time to start your preseason prep. And that's what I'm doing here today. I was not successful last deer season because I wasn't as intentional as I should have or as I could have been. I had a great season, I learned a lot, and I want to take all of that experience and apply it to this next season in hopes of doing well. So, one thing that frustrated me about last season was how close I was. I did a really good job at identifying the best spot to be in, but it seemed like I was always a step or two behind the deer. One way to remedy that is understanding more of their pattern, their timing, the frequency and the direction that they're coming into the property from. It was pretty frustrating last year actually, or last season. There were days where I would climb out of the tree and after spending 4 hours in there and start walking out, and then 100 yards in front of me, they're right there, I spook them, they take off. Why was I not able to call them from the direction that I was in? Scent control, understanding where they're coming from, all of that matters. There were days when I would just finish up 4 hours later, get in a truck, as I'm driving out of the property, they're at the bottom of the driveway. I spook them and just drive home sad. There were days where just right before the hunt, the day before, or whatever it might be, the dog and I would be hiking around, and of course they're right there where I expected them to be, where I was planning to hunt or where I planned to hunt the day before. Almost every single day hunting was met with something like that, which is good, I guess, because I'm almost right, and I'm just missing a few pieces of information. So to remedy that and to gain all the information I need, I should use some trail cameras. And while researching trail cameras, I ran across the typical Browning and Tacticam options, the ones that are cell enabled, which is exactly what I need so I can check my camera from afar and not have to come here and pull the SD card and all that. But then what piqued my interest is some cheaper options from lesser known brands or newly emerging Chinese brands at a fraction of the cost. Obviously that comes as a trade-off. Quality is not going to be the same across the board, but really what I'm looking for is more information. And so if image quality is not as good as the Browning or the Tacticam options, that's great. As long as they're going to trigger and they're reliable, they're going to work for me. And so that got me to really shift my strategy. Instead of getting 1 or 2 cameras, I would try to get more and test them out, and if they work for the first few months leading into the season, I would get even more and set them up in different corners that I might have blind spots in. And so that's what I did. This brand is called SEHMUA, and I'm sure there are other like it's in that price point, but they are 4G LTE enabled, all of the things that you need in the other ones, except probably a lower image quality and just a build quality overall. Maybe it won't last as long. That is not as important to me as the number of cameras that I could set out to gain more information and really know where they're coming from. This was almost 50% off. So instead of $50, it was $35. It was a no-brainer to just grab 3 for the price of less than 1. And like I said, if they work well over the next months or so, I can grab more and set them up. And if they work for 1 season and they get me a successful hunting season, then it's a win in my book. So that's what we'll do. A little bit about the plan here. The property is almost like a perfect rectangle, and it backs into a national forest up there with some shared land on the side. And so my plan is to put one at the top right here, or left here, one at the top right, and kind of understand which way they're coming in from the national forest, or which way they're kind of crossing through my land. And then another one I'm going to put somewhere around here facing the driveway. This way I'll get to kind of keep an eye out on the driveway, but also I've seen so many deer there that it would be kind of good to understand if they're walking in from there or walking out, and what time. I think direction and time are going to be crucial. That's going to help me decide on, evening hunt at the top to the right or evening hunt at the top to the left would be better. Should I be hunting down here is something I've never considered, and I can do with bow hunting. And so there's just little details like that that I'm excited to understand for next season. So let's go set these up. Let's quickly walk through what's in the box. Now I've went ahead and opened these to give them a full charge using the USB-C port at home that's just much faster than the solar panel option. It doesn't say the name on the box on the front, but it's the SEHMUA, and that's spelled SEHMUA, and it's 4G LTE, but then on the back the model is RBX H10. It says it's IP66 waterproof rated. It has built-in microphone and speaker. The working temperature is -4 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That is never going to be an issue where I'm at here. And there's a nice big buck on the front. Hopefully that helps. I've also gone ahead and updated the firmware on these and connected them to the app, and all of that is squared away. But anyway, in here, the first thing on the top is the solar panel. Comes with the antenna. This is the strap that you'll be using to put it on the tree, but there's other mounting options like this kind of a wall or a post mounting option with a pin, ball pin right here. Some hardware to go along with all of that, and then this is the mount for the solar panel. It goes on the back of this, and the solar panel attaches to this and allows you to angle it for most ideal angle for sun exposure. And here's the camera itself. Like most of the outdoor trail cameras, you open it from the back here. This one has just a very simple operating setup, a on-off switch, a reset button, and some indicator lights for signal, so low, medium, high signal, and then a status LED light. And finally right here, there's a micro SD card slot if you don't want to use the 4G cell feature and you want to just keep things internal. All right, so first thing we'll do is, I went ahead and turned it back on, and now I'm gonna screw on the antenna here. All right, but there it is. Now, if I check the app, it should indicate that it is being charged. Not really much to it. So I'll do that to the other three, and we'll go put them up on the trees. Let's see if this is big enough. There we go. Oh. Okay, so this took a lot of effort to put around the tree, but it is on there now in the direction that I was planning on, facing the cabin and the exit here, or the driveway. So it kind of serves two purposes. If somebody's sneaking around here that shouldn't be, I can get to keep my eye on that entrance, but also I know there's activity over here. It's just this USB cable is so long, and I understand why. It's nice to have that if you want to mount, and maybe I choose to do that later. If you want to mount the solar panel higher up in the tree or in a different location, you can. I get it. I guess it's better to have the option than complain about not having. Okay. We're at the edge of the property right here. That is parkland or national forest land. That is national forest and neighbor. So I think this would be a great tree right here. Like I said, the plan was to have one on the opposite corner of where we are, facing kind of this way and the national forest, and this one will be facing that other camera and the National Forest. So if they're coming in, either there's a little trail that they can sneak in this way, this will catch them, or if they sneak in the other side over the ridge, that camera will catch them. And if they go all the way through, I'll understand if they're leaving through the easiest way out, which is the kind of the driveway, gravel road area where I've seen them before. And hopefully I'm setting these low enough, but also high enough to work. I also anticipate coming back out here and making adjustments throughout the month, so we'll see. That is the desired angle, at least for this first initial test. We're all done here. I've been here all day running some errands, and so I'm glad to have had the chance to finish this today. It's been on the back burner for a little while, just other things are a little bit higher priority, but ever since the season for me ended and I was unsuccessful, I've been a little bit bitter and I've been wanting to know what the deer are up to. So this has been something that I've been putting off for a little while, and I'm glad I had it done. If you have cameras like this, these cheaper alternatives to the more common brands, please let me know what your experience has been with them. Are they good, bad? Any other models I should be considering as I kind of add to the perimeter here. And if you're a seasoned hunter, as you're kind of learning a little bit more about my journey, it's probably similar to other new hunters' journeys as well. Please drop some knowledge, humble me, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and that might help a lot of people. Hunting is one of those things that not enough people are getting into it, and it seems like there's a gap in terms of age where a lot of the knowledge that is out there is not easily transferred or communicated in a way that is absorbed by people like myself. And so I'm self-taught, and I'm having to sift through all kinds of information, really valuable information that doesn't necessarily apply to me. And so I think having a view into my perspective and what I'm experiencing might help someone give me some pointers that are a lot more direct and maybe yield some better results. Thank you, and like and subscribe, please. See you all in the next one.